question is, do people accept you for who you are, and do you accept others for who they are? And this is a very, very important question. You see, I know in my life, people haven't accepted me who I am. Even the closest to my family, they say to me, oh, why can't you be like everyone else? Why can't you do things the same as everyone else? Why can't you dress the same as everyone else? Why can't you look the same as everyone else? And therefore, I'm judged and I'm treated in a certain way because I'm not meeting someone else's expectations. But similarly, do we judge others? Do we judge others on their abilities and how we perceive them? And then do we then possibly be a bit harsh on them? Or we just full of kindness and love? Well, I'm sure you now live in the material world, it's mainly harshness. Because when someone doesn't meet up to our expectations, then we normally respond in a very, very negative way. I'm reading the Bhagavad-gītā As It Is, translated by Srila, chapter 6, verse 41 today. And in this verse, the Lord is explaining to us that He accepts us for who we are. And that's important. He accepts us for who we are. I've been through my life where I haven't been accepted for who I am. I've been compared, and sometimes I've compared myself. It's not about just what other people put onto me, it's actually what I put onto myself. And it's hard because I wasn't the child that grew up as the centre of the stage, centre of the circle of group of friends. I was the one always on the outside, and therefore I had to make the effort. I wasn't as important as everyone else. And therefore I put myself down in one regard. I compared myself with how everyone else is, which is not healthy either. And similarly, people didn't consider me as just an important soul, actually. I just happened to be there. And if they remembered I was there, oh that's great. But a lot of the time, it didn't happen that way. But that's how things have been in the past. But I ask you, as we move on into the next video here, is do you accept everyone for who they are, or do you expect them to be in a certain way, or behave in a certain way, or speak in a certain way? And this is really, 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 really fundamentally important question. So as we move into the next video, we're going to discover what the implications are. And the implications are massive. So let me explore more with you. Hare Krishna. We need to look at things in a different perception when it comes to how we perceive others and ourselves, is because we need to open up this door to learning, as I said in the previous video. So, I now need to accept myself for who I am, and my capacity, my capabilities, my skills, my awareness, my thoughts, my feelings, and not judge myself. And equally, I need to stop judging others. And this is really, really, really important, because if I don't, I'm not going to give them the opportunity to learn. And there's a reason to why someone is in my life, because there is a lesson, not just from them, but a lesson from me. So as I was saying in the previous video, I've had this issue with the other prabhu of me having these high expectations, and therefore I now need to give them the space to grow and to learn, and suddenly I need to learn through these lessons as well. So it's a double-sided lesson. Every situation the Lord puts us into is my lesson and His lesson and our lesson together. So I ask you, are you learning your lessons? Are you finding yourself stuck in places where you're not sure how to deal with it? And the easiest thing to do actually is to run away from these situations. The first thought I had with this prabhu was maybe he's better off getting another seva. But no, the Lord has put him into this seva for a reason, and He's put him in the seva with me because I need to learn how to deal with it as well. And that means becoming even more compassionate, even more loving, even more caring, even more understanding. And these are qualities that we really, really need to develop in ourselves. How do you find yourself? Do you find that when you're being judgmental, you're looking and being critical, and you judge this person and whether they're a good person or not a good person. We start to open up this massive web, and everything gets caught up in this web, and then we belittle people, we belittle ourselves. We're hard, we're harsh. Why? Why? Because of our expectation. And this is something that we need to really consider, whether what we're doing and why we're doing it is for the right reason. Because we tend to want to do it for an easy life. And also we've got this theory in life that everything's got to be my way, my way, my way. But no, it's not about my way, about my perception. It's about how can we respect another person. I'll explain more in the final video. Implications of judging other people or judging ourselves or being judged. It means that we're always feeling limited and we're always feeling negative. We feel like we're not good enough or they're not good enough. They're not meeting up to our standards, or we're not meeting up to their standards, or society's standards, or the company's standards. And this is harsh. It's harsh because it's not actually giving people the opportunity to explore themselves, because they're being put down, or we're putting ourselves down, or putting other people down. And how can we actually get to a point where we're actually learning if all we're doing is actually cutting the situation and not giving people the opportunity, to actually move forward in their lives. And this is so important. And do you know what? I have to admit that I'm being tested about this at the moment. In one of the sevas that I supervise, I have a prabhu doing seva with me. And I feel I'm judging him. I'm judging him on his abilities and being critical in one regard, because I've got to organise seva. He's wishing to do this seva, or he's been asked to do this seva by his authority, yet everything's an effort for him. He's got some health issues. I accept that. I've had my health issues. I've still got health issues. But I find myself judging him, and I don't feel I'm being as compassionate as the Lord is. And this is, I think, my lesson. My lesson is I've got to be more compassionate, more understanding, and accepting for who he is, what he's able to do at this moment in time, rather than actually having it meet up to my expectations. And I think this is really important. We have high expectations of others. We have high expectations of ourselves. And similarly, people have high expectations of us. So we need to start considering, are there certain things that need to start to shift inside us so that we can actually react in a different way, behave in a different way, and actually open up this door to learning. Because if we close the door and just be critical, whether it's to ourselves or to another, or being criticised by someone else, actually restricts us from learning, because actually it puts us off. It puts us into this point where, do I really want to learn? And that reminds me of my children at school. They felt when they were younger that if they didn't like the teacher, they didn't like the subject. So we're moving on to the next video. This next video is going to highlight how we can actually start to look at things in a completely different perception. Hare Krishna. About how we can become more respectful, more kinder. And this is the beauty. This is the beauty about Krishna consciousness, and this is what Srila Prabhupada has translated in the Bhagavad-gītā about the Lord. The Lord is so forgiving. He is so merciful, and all he wants to do is help. And if we can't do it, he'll put his hand out and help us to cross that line. He's not interested in the results. He's interested in attitude, and when it comes to seva, service attitude, endeavour, intention, love and care. He's not looking at numbers or results, how much you've done or how much more you've done in comparison to other people. He's not interested in any of that whatsoever. So why do we get interested in that, or why do we need to meet those needs? Because we live in a society, in this material world, where everything is about numbers, everything is competition. And that makes us a very harsh person. because we're always competing with everyone else and having expectations they're going to meet our needs or our level of how we do something or how we function. And this is limiting, absolutely limiting. So how do we actually do that? How do we go through this process? As I explained to you previously on other videos, it all starts with the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The moment you start chanting the Maha Mantra, which is a great mantra, what happens is you're distracting yourself from your mind. And in your mind you've got Maya Devi. She's the one who's going round and round telling you to do these stupid little things or behave in a stupid little way or mindless way or thoughtless way. But the moment you start chanting, Maya starts to go a bit quieter. It doesn't mean that the voices don't pop up. Of course the voices will pop up. But when we keep on going back to the Maha Mantra, we keep on going back to Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The mind doesn't have the space to talk. So this is one of the biggest advantages of chanting is because I know in the past I've had a very busy mind. I have still a very busy mind, but fortunately it's all about seva. It still would be nice if it was a little bit quieter sometimes. I'm always thinking about how to serve the Lord, so it's not the end of the world. But we need to try and find a way. Do you find your mind gets so busy? Looking at this, looking at that, all the positives and negatives, the criticism, the intolerances. I'm going to finish off. I'll promise you to make this the last video because I need to really explain what's going to happen next and how this can transform everything about your perception. Look at how we can transform our perception so that, do you know what? We become a better version of ourselves. And it's very interesting actually because the Lord has said to us, just work to your capacity. Nothing more. Your capacity. Not his capacity, not other people's capacity, but your own capacity. And there's a difference between being lazy and just doing a little bit or doing everything that you can do within your powers and within your capacity. And that's a really big, important deciding factor. So the Maha Mantra helps us to find those judgmentations, to understand what is my capacity. Okay? So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Every time I chant this mantra, every time it's just like clearing my mind, it's purifying my mind, it's detoxifying the mind. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to use this analogy which I keep on using because it's working so beautifully. If I take a jug of water and put loads of dirty soil inside it, it's thick, it's clumpy, and it's murky. But the moment I start to add a little bit of clean water to it and clean water, it gets clearer and clearer. Well, this is the same thing. Every time I start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Every time I read about the Lord Krishna, every time I talk about him, every time I look at his pastimes, every time I think about him, it's taking me through this cleansing and purification where the murky water is having a little bit more clear water and clean water. And all these things about Lord Krishna is all the clean water that's coming in, pouring into me and cleaning my mind. And it's rewiring it, it's resetting things, and it's beautiful. So, we don't have to have this perception of being inadequate. We don't have to have the perception of other people being inadequate. And we don't need to worry about what other people say about us. All we need to do is to serve the Lord, and by serving the Lord to our best ability, to our capacity, that's all that matters. And then he responds, he becomes even more active in our lives and shows us the path forward. And it's beautiful. The pathway where eventually all we think about is the Lord and the Lord and the Lord and the Lord. And then ultimately it gives us an opportunity to break the cycle of birth and death and to spiritualize our whole life. And when we spiritualize our whole life, then we have the opportunity to go to the spiritual world after this body and rather stay trapped in this perception of inadequacy of others and ourselves. Hare Krishna.